Can I stop or are you going to karate chop me? Can I stop?
Well, why don't we just keep it going? There's juice here.
People don't want to listen to you, boo.
There's juice on the table. Let's soak it up.
You're going to give them a 2-hour episode?
You're the long talker.
I'm giving them value and facts and with needed information with a whole lot of ums, by the way.
Exactly, with at least two or three
and I have to edit out those ums when we do the transcript. So
I don't do ums.
Actually, homie, I have the transcripts.
Homie? Don't homie me, homie.
Yes, you do.
You're going to wreck yourself.
You better know yourself so you can grow yourself.
Know to grow. Know to grow.
You can't do growing without knowing, right?
There's no such thing.
Chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I am Zuri, and this is your invitation to be the beautiful you. Welcome to our podcast. My co-host and partner is expansion coach Mikey Starr.
And she's lifestyle coach Zuri Starr. And together, we make the empowerment couple.
We are the founders of the omnimedia organic lifestyle company, I Am Zuri, and we have teamed up to bring you a healthy lifestyle podcast.
Each week, we'll bring you either a special guest or a peek behind the scenes at how we are co-creating our most beautiful life. Our goal with this show is to energize, edify, and elevate your day.
Walk with us as we chart a course to living your most beautiful life.
Your most beautiful life.
Never do that again. Hi, Mike.
Hello, Zuri.
How are you?
Excellent.
Good. I want to share some fun facts with you real quick about our unique expression in this world. Scientists have calculated the odds of you being born, and they took into account all the variables and came up with the following stat. The odds of someone with your DNA born into this world at the time you were born is 1 in 400 trillion.
Wow.
I wanted to start with that because that's an amazing fact to sit with as we dive into looking at how to build a relationship with yourself, how to feel about yourself, how to build a relationship with someone else. So just sit with that for a second, like 1 in 400 trillion.
It makes you extremely unique. And again, because of all those variables, there's also lots of room for chaos. For sure. So when we talk about relationships, I want you to focus on the most important relationship first, right? We talk a lot about the relationship with yourself and why that's so important, because the relationship with yourself is comprised of self-love, self-kindness, self-soothing, self-awareness, self-respect. It's all those things. And since there's nobody in the world quite like you, I would propose that that's kind of your superpower, right? Your uniqueness, what you're here to do. And getting to know yourself can really fuel that superpower, you know? So I came up with some quizzes and some different ways that people kind of identify who they are and why they're here. We kind of narrowed that down together. And I know it was fun taking some of these. But we came up with the most common personality tests that you could take to better know yourself and your life's purpose and who you should get into partnership with, who you're compatible with. But they pose the question, like, how well do you know yourself? And if you don't know who you are, how can you expect other people to know who you are and understand you? Exactly.
And support you? Because I really was feeling like when I was younger that I would ask myself the question, why doesn't that person like me? Or why are they behaving that way to me? And not understanding that, you know, everyone's different and we're all here for a different purpose. And some of us are not going to be compatible. So challenge yourself to be really reflective and figure out why you're here and understand your internal battles and why your mind and your heart are not aligned. All of these things that we're going to talk about on the show today, I think really help you identify that. They're kind of like the inside track, owner's manual, cheat sheet, cliff notes, whatever you want to call it. Like you get to know how you're wired from birth, then it's kind of like, okay, so this is what I'm here to do. And there's acceptance and like beauty in that, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like, getting a user's manual.
Yeah.
And not only for yourself, but for your partner. So imagine you and I had first met and you handed me your user manual. Like, this is how I like to be treated.
And wouldn't it be nice to know these things ahead of getting into serious relationship with someone, ahead of hiring them as a coach where you're spending thousands of dollars, ahead of, just trying to go to therapy to figure out why your mom did X or your dad did this. Like just knowing these things about them, I think can really allow you to see, well, their life's purpose was this or that, right? So, and there are so many thousands of quizzes. I'm sure you've seen like the Facebook, like, let me tell you who your best celebrity match is and stuff like that. I'm not talking about those type of things. I think, while those can be entertaining, I don't think they're going to tell you much about yourself or your future or why you're here. And most likely are going to help Facebook store that information and later serve you advertisements related to it, right? So the 6 we came up with are astrological signs, Chinese zodiac, doshic, numerology, Enneagram, and body graph. But before all that, it's game time. Okay, we're going to play a funny game that is not necessarily scientific or anything. So just so you know, we're going to play, just roll with me here, okay? Okay.
I've been rolling with you for years.
You have. Have I steered you wrong? No.
No.
Do you like how I answered for you? Okay, so I want to know, you tell me, what's your favorite animal?
The cheetah.
The cheetah. Okay. And I want you to tell me what 3 reasons why you like the cheetah.
They have really pretty spots.
Pretty spots.
They are sleek.
Sleek.
And they are the fastest land animal.
Fastest land animal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Second to the ostrich.
So I'm going to take a moment to put that in here. So sleek.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said spots.
Nice spots.
Nice spots. And fast.
Super fast.
Okay. Cheetah. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite article of clothing?
I would state it would be swim trunks.
Trunk.
Because if I'm wearing swim trunks,
I
am somewhere warm.
What are you, 80?
I'm somewhere warm and I'm about to get
like
into
board shorts?
Board shorts, yeah.
Swim trunks.
Board shorts, excuse me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
Why? Yes.
Why? Name 3 reasons why you like them.
Like I was saying before, if I'm wearing them, I'm about ready to jump in the water.
Okay, so they mean like your butt.
Yes, I'm going to go swimming.
You're about to have fun.
I'm about to have fun.
They're fun wear.
Yes, it's warm out, and therefore I'm not
3 reasons
cold.
why you like them. Fun wear.
Mm-hmm.
They're like warm.
Yeah, it suggests that the weather's warm.
Okay, and
it shows off my stunning legs.
No, really? That's what you're going with?
No, I don't have stunning legs. I got chicken legs.
Come on, that's what you're going with?
Because they're comfortable.
Okay, can you just tell me 3 reasons? So you gave me 2, give me 1 more. Fun, warm weather,
and they're comfortable.
Okay.
A good pair of board shorts makes you feel like you don't have anything on.
Okay, got it. Pipe down. Okay, now, last question is your favorite body of water?
The Pacific Ocean.
Ocean?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Because I grew up on the Pacific Ocean. And
no, 3 reasons why you like it.
That's one. That's one reason.
Like characteristics. Okay, let me refine it. 3 characteristics of why you like the ocean.
I like The salt water.
Water.
I like playing in the ocean, bodyboarding,
Characteristics of the ocean. What if you pick like a river, you would pick like, oh, I like it because it flows or something. What's a characteristic of the ocean?
The surf.
Okay.
It's blue.
That's why you like it, because it's blue?
And it sounds very soothing.
Okay. Soothing, surf, and blue? That's what you're sticking with?
That's what I'm sticking with. This is going to be some weird ad-lib. Am I going to be like some Buster or something?
Yes, of course. It's a game. I'm setting you up to be total Buster. Okay. So my favorite animal, just so I also treat myself the same, is dolphin. And I like the dolphin because it's fun, happy, and smart. Okay. I love dolphins. So you know this. My favorite article of clothing is like a romper jumper, you know, because it's like cute, flattering, like it's cute on my body. Flattering, it's comfortable, and it's easy. I don't have to like figure out a shirt or pants or any of that. So that's why I like that. And my favorite body of water is also the ocean. And it's big, intense, and beautiful. Okay. All right. So now do you want to know the meaning behind why I was asking you these questions?
Yes. And again, you most certainly have the advantage here, so let's hear them.
The advantage?
Well, okay, let's go.
I am playing the game with you equally, okay? I played the game with you equally. I had the advantage of writing my questions ahead of time, but then it was revealed to me what this means, okay?
Got it.
So, we're both not experiencing the reveal at the same time because I had to give you the questions.
Okay.
But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, it was revealed to me and I was like, oh, interesting. Okay, so your favorite animal is how you see yourself. So you see yourself like a cheetah because you're fun and you have good, or not fun, I'm sorry, sleek. You like its spots. You've got spots.
I got spots. I got moles.
and you got freckles and fast.
And fast, okay.
Okay, so that's how you see yourself. It's pretty accurate. Okay, and then...
Fast as in speed.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Oh, whatever. And I said dolphin because, and this is again how I see myself, dolphin, fun, happy, smart. That's pretty accurate.
Yes, you are fun, you are happy, and you're smart.
And then number 2 was favorite article of clothing, and that's how others see you. Okay. So you said...
Oh, jeez.
You said swim trunks. And I changed it to board shorts just to bring you a little bit more forward. And you said it was because fun. You're about to have fun. And that you wear them when it's warm. So I guess how others see you is fun, warm, weather friendly. I don't know.
I'm fun and warm.
You're fun and warm and comfortable.
And comfortable. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one is when you say favorite body of water, that's how you view sex. Yes. So yours was ocean. You did say salt water first. Let's be clear. So sex is salty, I guess.
Salty.
Can be.
Sweats is salty.
Yeah. Surf, which is something you like about the ocean.
I like to ride it.
So, right. Yes.
Moves.
I guess it's like...
Surfboard, you know?
Yeah, your Beyonce moment. Your surfboard. And then blue, which I don't know what to say about that.
But I said it was soothing.
Well, yes, you did. You said soothing, surf, and blue.
Yeah, I like the sound of it.
I guess it is soothing to have sex. I mean, let's be real. So.
And the sounds are nice, too.
Where does blue fit in?
Hopefully not the balls.
balls.
No blue balls. Okay.
I don't know where the blue fits in. But anyway, again, not scientific here. So my favorite body of water was ocean, and it was because it's big,
okay,
intense, and beautiful. You're taking credit for how I feel about an ocean. Well, just reframe it here.
Well,
Okay. Anyway, so that's how I view sex.
Okay.
Big, intense, beautiful ocean. So
that's good times right there.
We both chose the same thing for how you view sex, so that is, I guess, good. That is good. It's not like you didn't pick like Babbling Brook.
A seasonal stream.
That was good. Okay.
Oh, good times.
That concludes this game. I hope you enjoyed it. Woo-hoo.
Go for it.
So, tell me a little bit about Doshik. I feel like your understanding is more comprehensive than mine is, and I know you've studied this a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. So the Doshik test tests for 3 different body types. And the Doshik principles are based out of the Ayurvedic medicinal system. Principles, yeah. And it stems off of 3 metabolic types. So you have Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And it's very similar to kind of the Western philosophy where you have the mesomorph, endomorph, and ectomorph, and how each of those body types have unique characteristics. And of course, there's always a blending, right? Most people are a blending of 2, sometimes a blending of 3. So it's important to take this test so that you know what your dominant dosha is.
Okay.
And therefore, you can kind of figure out exactly how you need to eat, the weather that you want to be in.
Right.
So, and what's interesting also is that the Doshik test or the Doshik system is also based on the 5 elements. So you see that a lot in alternative medicine. So you have earth, air, fire, water, and space.
Space. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So space basically is that element that holds everything together.
Right.
So without the space, you don't have anything. So everything holds each other
energy.
in check. Yeah, exactly. Everything holds each other in check.
I like that.
So to begin with, Vata is a combination of air and space, both of which seem relatively weightless. So the Vata dosha body type is typically light, very slim build. They're often quick thinking and sometimes impulsive. And therefore, ways to keep them balanced is to ground them, right?
Okay.
So they're typically all kind of in the clouds and pulling ideas really quickly. They tend to be really, really creative. So when they start to spin out, you want to ground them.
This is Vata.
Vata, exactly.
Got it. Okay.
They are also tend to be, because they don't have a whole lot of body weight, they tend to be cold.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So to keep them happy, you want to keep them warm. So they do really well in warmer climates versus the colder climates.
Cali in Florida.
Exactly. And also they thrive off of routine.
Okay.
Which is interesting, and I'll show you why in just a little bit. Then there's the Pitta dosha, and that is a combination of fire and water, and both of those elements have a very profound effect on one another. So picture a pot of boiling water over an open flame. You leave the pot on long enough, the water evaporates, and you don't have any water. Whereas you can also take that water and dump it on the fire and extinguishes the fire. So they hold each other in check.
Okay. It's kind of balancing.
Exactly. So therefore, the Pitta doshas tend to be a medium build. They're very athletic, with well-proportioned bones and muscles. Also, they tend to have a very fiery personality, very competitive. Therefore,
I wonder which one I am.
You'll be surprised. Therefore, to keep them balanced, you have to keep them kind of cool, right? They run hot. So, the opposite of hot, of course, is to cool them down.
Like jumping into the ocean?
The ocean.
Or lake?
Yeah.
Or being also, around water?
Exactly. And also doing things that are somewhat relaxing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But they also require like very calming, right?
Yeah.
So cool, calm, exactly.
Okay.
And all things in moderation, right? So again, you have fire. So if you're consuming fire, you're going to burn out.
Right.
If you are consuming water, you get washed out, right?
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, I like that analogy. Okay, so
exactly,
fire and water.
Yes, fire and water. And then you have...
And what was the first one? Vata is what?
Vata is air and space.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Then you have the Kapha dosha, which is a combination of of earth and water. And both of those
are... mud.
Mud, yeah. But both of those are heavy elements, right?
For sure.
They have a lot of weight to them.
Yep. And a lot of power.
Yes, very, very powerful, exactly. And they tend to have a nice calm temperament.
Okay.
Right? So think of the oceans and think of the land masses. They're pretty stable.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they can get a little violent, of course, but for the most part, they're pretty calm temperament.
Got it.
So ways of keeping them balanced, oddly enough, is to keep them dry, right? Because they have a water sign, so they tend to be moist.
Right.
So you have a lot of the kaphas tend to be sweaters.
Right.
Right. Same thing with the pitas. Right?
Yeah.
They also tend to be sweaters, which also states that you want to keep them cool.
Right.
But they do well in less humid environments.
Okay. Kaphas do.
Exactly.
Okay.
They also
dry climates.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And because they tend to be kind of your heavier elements, they need to be stimulated quite often. So imagine, seeing a stagnant pool of water, you stir it around, it's no longer stagnant.
Okay.
You see a stagnant, if you're gardening or something, you want to till the soil every now and then to get the airflow.
Okay.
And also they need to be able to express themselves.
Okay.
Right? Because that's pretty much their fastest moving component. Right, is self-expression. So if they don't have the ability to express themselves, they start to kind of fold in on each other.
And are they typically, you mentioned that so it's kind of like light, medium, heavy. They tend to be heavier set or thicker bones and stuff,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay, I don't know if you already said that. So I'm just clarifying, like categorizing the different types of body types and elements and all of, it's fascinating, right?
Yeah, it is. And again, most people are a combination, in different degrees.
Yeah.
And I have your reading, so I'd like to show you those. And so therefore, you could have someone who is a heavy kapha, who also is, has elements of pitta.
Pitta,
right?
Or vata, right?
Or vata, exactly.
Right.
You don't really see the extremes that often. Vata with a lot of kapha, but they exist.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
You're talking about you opened it up with 1 in how many trillion?
Yeah, 1 in 400 trillion.
Lots of degrees.
It's a lot of zeros.
Exactly. There's so much room for interpretation.
Yep.
Right. And variance. Now, each dosha thrives under a specific lifestyle.
Okay.
Right? And those lifestyles will include things like food and climate.
Okay.
Right? So spicy foods or sugary foods, whether or not they can have dairy, all those things are taken account. So therefore, by knowing your dosha, you know exactly what you can and cannot have or where the environments where you thrive in, but you also know those about your partner.
Okay.
Right? So you got to have to find that happy medium.
So are you going to tell me what I am?
I can.
Because I took the test and you're going to tell me my results.
Yes. And just before that, there's the other thing is that there's 3 different states.
Okay.
Right? So you have the balanced state, Then you have an increased where one dosha dominates.
Okay.
Or is maybe excessive.
Okay.
And then you have decreased where one dosha is less than normal, almost absent.
Got it.
Right?
Okay. So question, everybody can take this test, right? We're going to put it in the show notes.
Yes.
It's going to be in the blog. They can take a deeper dive and really investigate what each one of these are. Like you're just giving us an overview, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And
because
it's fast.
It sounds like something that in our culture, because it's such an old Ayurvedic principle that it's been around for a long time. I'm sure there's so much information about it. But we'll put some in the show notes and on the blog, and we're open to questions if you guys have questions about your kapha, pitta, or what's the third one?
Vata. Vata, pitta.
I've already forgot. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so
and keep in mind, like this information predates modern medicine by
right. Okay. So
time.
this is doshic. So
exactly.
We will. Okay. Tell me what my results are.
I wasn't surprised when I saw your results. I was surprised when I saw mine.
Okay.
So you are 70% pitta.
70%.
70% pitta,
okay.
which you're very fiery.
Yep.
Athletic.
Yep.
Right. Well proportioned. Right.
You mean like hips?
Yes.
Hips for days.
Yes. All the goodies. You're well proportioned. And then you're vata.
Okay.
Right. So
how much vata?
Vata, you are 30%.
So it's like based on 100%. Got it. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
So, which means going back to, ways of keeping you calm or keeping you balanced, when you are stressed out, I know that calming works, right? When I feel like you're kind of spun out, you're working, you're doing, 5 different things at once.
Yep.
I know that grounding works.
Okay.
Let's go for a hike. Let's go outside in our woods.
Hug a tree. Sit by the creek.
And within seconds,
yeah,
Zuri's back.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Okay. This explains so much because it's fire and water, and I love sitting by big bodies of water. I love jumping into the lake. I don't like being super, super hot and humid and sweaty. Like I like more of a drier climate. That's why born and raised in California, I lived in LA most of the time because I like just being dry, hot, and accessible to the ocean.
What's interesting though?
Yes.
You have 4 out of the 5 elements, right? The only element that you're missing is earth.
Yeah, so I need to ground.
You need to ground.
It makes so much sense.
You need to ground. The more you know, the more detailed your self-care gets. And also the more I know, the more I can predict, like, okay, when is Zuri going to get spun out? Right? And when it happens, it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, I know what to do.
Watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but so I have a question. Well, a couple questions. So if I'm 70 pitta and I'm 30 vata, I'm not kapha at all.
None.
And that's just kind of normal, or am I looking to change something so that I can become more kapha, or? It's
normal for you.
Okay.
That's the unique. It's normal for you.
One other question is, you said that pittas run hot. So I love spicy food. I eat it 3 times a day, but that can actually create an imbalance then, right?
Remember moderation?
Right. So everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Exactly.
It all goes back to that chestnut. Okay, tell me about yours. What was your test?
So I don't mean to, pop my collar or anything, but
you're going to.
I'm going to. It's very rare that I can do this, and I'm going to take my time and do this.
Very rare, right?
One of the rarest forms.
Peacock alert.
One of the rarest forms is what is called a being tridoshic, where you are a good balance of all 3.
Of course.
So let
me see these results.
And
Just kidding.
Going back to going back to the whole astrological signs, I'm a Libra.
Yeah.
Right. So Libras are all about balance.
Yeah.
So everything that I do is all about balance, which I was kind of surprised, but I wasn't surprised.
So you're tridoshic.
I'm tridoshic.
Means that you're a little bit of each.
I'm 30 pitta, 40 Vata, and 30 Kapha.
Interesting.
Very interesting, isn't it? So
yeah,
I can see that in my temperament. You know, I can go from calm to fiery to spacey, literally within about 30 minutes.
Totally.
Right?
So that kind of leads us into, you mentioned you're a Libra, right? And so I think if people want to take a deeper dive into dosha, you can look at the show notes, go to the blog. We will cover more of that. I know that you've been studying that and researching and developing all of that side of this discussion. You want to talk about astrology since you mentioned Libra?
Yes, but in closing with the whole doshic system, what I like about it the most is that it is detailed to the person. So it really takes into account everything that is about you so that you can make your own decisions to keep yourself balanced.
And it seems like a really good test to take with like a roommate, you know, if you have a roommate, or to take with, you know, if you're taking care of somebody, like how you can better care for them, or, you know, a coach to take their students and find out what their dosha is so that they can help them, so that they can really support them. Like you and I are both helpers. We're both coaches. I would like to know more about people's dosha so I can say, oh, I get that. This is how we should serve you. You need these types of meditations, right?
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Grab your cell phones, grab a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And by the time that cup of tea is over, you guys could have finished the test.
Yep.
And have been talking about it. And all of a sudden, you guys know each other more than you guys did before your cup of tea.
And we're going to give them that link, how to take the test, and all of that in the show notes. So astrology, I would say I'm by no means an expert. We will have some people on the show that are, which will be really fun. But until then, just like a brief overview of astrology and why it's important. Obviously, most people know about their sun sign because that's what's in all of the magazines and newspapers. Is your traditional horoscope is based on your sun sign.
And it's a big pickup sign. Pickup line.
What's your sign? I don't know.
Stop.
Maybe in the 80s.
I've never used it.
90s.
I have no game, so it's okay.
Yeah, no, you don't have you don't have game. This is a good thing. You're married. No game for you. But really, astrology is very old too. And it comes from 3rd century BC. It's from the Hellenistic period. And but if you visited any ancient ruin, and you and I have, you'll notice that there's some type of tracking device or place in that ruin where they've tracked the sky. They've tracked the sun, the moon. Sometimes they're tracking certain constellations, right?
Solstices, the equinoxes.
Yeah, yes. And just, you know, things that have happened, you know, like, and they'll sometimes do drawings of them and have, you know, different markings, right? From that, from what they're looking for. They're looking for the full moon, or like, this is, you know, if this hits perfectly at this time, you'll see the solstice.
And most of Greek mythology is all about
the
stars.
So astrology is really interesting, and it really has kind of got a bad rap because people are like, oh, it's too general. And I think that's because mostly what people are looking at is their sun sign, and they either think it's too generic and it doesn't resonate with them, you know, or they don't get how, you know, maybe their brother or cousin is the same sign and they're totally opposite. So they kind of just, you know, shrug it off as like, this isn't science. This isn't based on anything.
It's pseudoscience. Exactly.
You see that a lot. And I think that's just because they haven't really looked at their full chart. So I've pulled both of our charts, and we're going to give everyone a link that they can pull their full chart and really get an understanding. But even if you just looked at 3 parts of your chart, you looked at your sun, your moon, and your rising, that would give you so much more of a picture of who you are. Instead of just like, you know, diving in and saying like, oh, I'm a Libra, like you said, that means that I'm very balanced. Well, what else is in your chart? You know? So, let's just talk about a little bit more about the basics. So if you want to use astrology to understand yourself and others, you need to know that the basics, the astrological basics, which are sun, the moon, the planets, and the 12th house of the horoscope. Mm-hmm. So there's 12 houses, 12 signs of the zodiac, and they're divided into 4 groups. Those 4 groups each contain 3 signs and are named after the elements. Again, elements. So the fire signs are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Air signs, this is you, are Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Water signs are driven by emotion. Earth signs are very practical. Mm-hmm. Fire signs are impulsive.
Really?
And air signs are intellectually oriented and tend to be very calm. Mm. Like a cool breeze.
Mm-hmm. A cool, smart breeze.
So explaining astrology could be really a whole show, let's be honest. And we will do that. But for the sake of time and just, letting people dig deeper if they want to, making sure that we're giving them a full, well-rounded approach to getting to know who they are, you can look at your sun, moon, and rising, getting back to that. So I pulled your entire chart, and I'm just going to give you your sun, moon, and rising.
Okay.
So each sign has a distinct characteristic, right? Mm-hmm. As we just discussed with the different elements. And Libra is your sun sign, mm-hmm. right? We talked about that.
Mm-hmm. That's known.
But your moon sign is Scorpio, which is a water sign. So your sun sign is air, mm-hmm. and your moon sign is water.
Air and water do well. I mean, fire and air do well.
Yes.
But fire and water do not.
No. So there is this belief that you kind of cross over, right? You mm-hmm. know, and Aries is what I am, my sun sign, mm-hmm. is not compatible with Scorpio. Hmm. But Aries and Libra are very compatible. But my moon sign is Sagittarius. So, and Sagittarius, as I was saying before, is an earth sign, and it is compatible with Scorpio. So our moon signs are compatible, and our sun signs are compatible.
Whoa.
What's up? You have an aha moment?
That's an aha moment. So basically, going back at all the little spats, it's really
all the little spats.
if I am displaying my moon signs, yes. and you're displaying your sun signs, or vice versa, we're going to have some issues. But if we're both in our sun or both in our moons, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, but we are made up of all of these things. That's mm-hmm. why it's important to know all of these things, right? You're not just Libra. So when you read your horoscope, that's not a true picture of just who you are.
That's my dominant.
Right.
Correct.
And it also just became a way for people to kind of offer it as a generic offering to mm-hmm. people without being an astrologer. Like mm-hmm. The common person that's doing it is not necessarily having any real deep knowledge mm-hmm. backing up what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Right. So so it's got that generic vibe about it that people have come to not like, right?
Yeah.
So, and then our rising signs, so sun, moon, and rising are important for the obvious. Like we cannot live on this planet without the sun or the moon. They Correct. Both are extremely important. So I think understanding why those two are important for us to focus on makes sense. But rising is really important because the rising sign represents the very beginning of your birth chart. And from there, it determines the rest of your chart's placements. Mm. So when you fill out the form to figure out your birth chart, you have to know very simple information. You have to know your name and your date of birth. You have to know what time you were born, and you have to know where you were born. So most of us know all of those. Some of us might have to look on our birth certificate to find out what time we were born. AM and PM matter, so make sure you look. And so that rising sign is the beginning of your birth chart, determines the rest of your chart's placements, and it makes it a vital part of your basic astrological self. So, rising, you are also Libra.
There we go.
Yes. And my rising is Cancer. So my sun, moon, and rising is Aries, Sagittarius, and Cancer. Your sun, moon, and rising is Libra, Scorpio, Libra.
Do you know what Cancer? What is it? A water sign or what is it?
Yes. So Cancer is a water sign.
Okay.
Yep. So water and air on that last one.
Okay.
So that again, the rising is the beginning of your birth. Like it really sets into motion the rest of your chart.
I feel like this information is like the tip of the iceberg.
Totally.
I mean, the tip, itself is very, very accurate.
Yeah.
Which means whatever comes afterwards is going to be even like, getting down to all the subtle details.
Totally.
And that's where the issues come up.
Yep. And also, like I said, we are going to have people who can speak in detail that do readings. And, if this is something that you are interested in the Am Zuri community, just definitely let us know. If you want a deeper dive, even deeper than we go on our blog, let us know. We are here to serve you. And we are very fascinated by it. And just researching a little bit deeper than I already knew and pulling our charts, I learned a lot. And obviously, it's one of my favorite things is to learn new things.
Yes, indeed.
So I have to kind of segue that into Chinese zodiac.
What are the differences?
Okay, so people think that they are similar, right? But the distinct differences is that Chinese zodiac is based upon animals for each year. So where we have animals that represent or symbols and astrological symbols for each month. In Chinese zodiac, it's for each year.
Is it 12? Is it almost the same though?
It's 12, but 12 years.
Oh.
Not 12 months.
So it's a longer cycle.
Much longer cycle. So you're, well, let me dive in here so that you can kind of just ask me some questions after, and then I'll share with you what you are and what that means. And we'll, of course, add more of this information to the show notes. But this is also ancient system. And there's a little bit of a conflict of where it actually came from. There's one belief that it's an ancient story of a great race, and which determined each animal's position in the zodiac. They raced, and the first 12 past the finish line is what is comprised of the Chinese zodiac. It's known as Shengzhao, and it's based on a 12-year cycle. Each year in that cycle is related to the animal sign.
Okay.
Making sense?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm following.
So these signs are in order of rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. These are the first 12 that made it past the finish line of the great race. The other belief is that Buddha asked animals to step up and become a representation. There's like 4 or 5 different stories about Buddha. And, of course, I don't have a preference on which one you believe. We provide them in the blog so that you can have the actual history. But these are the 12 animals that came forward. Okay. So regardless, these are the 12 animals that they have been using since ancient times and that they are currently using. And it also uses the 5 elements, which are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood.
Interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
So where you had dosha had, remind me, 5.
Fire, water, air. and space, or air,
space and earth.
Earth and space, yes.
Yeah, okay. We may have botched that, but
no.
Yeah, that's right.
Collectively, we're okay.
Collectively, we're good. But it's fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. So instead of space, there's metal. And instead of air, it's wood.
Interesting.
It's super interesting. But each element is linked to motivating forces in your life. Mm-hmm. For example, like a fire sign, they're inspired by excitement. Mm-hmm. Earth signs are motivated to secure foundations, is what they say. Metal signs are driven to create order. Water signs are compelled to form emotional bonds. Mm-hmm. And those born under the wood element have a desire to explore. Which
makes sense.
It's just interesting because you're going to learn more about what you are. Okay. But there's some funny facts too when you're researching Chinese astrology or the Chinese zodiac, is that in ancient times, people didn't have clocks.
Yeah.
And so they used the 12 animals, right, to represent 2 hours at a time on a clock.
Oh, okay.
So, so they use they called them the 12 terrestrial branches to name the hours, right? So it was kind of like for the sake of entertainment and conveniences, and it's ingrained in their culture 100%, even today. And
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and having been to China, you will see, rats in certain places. You will see dragons on a lot of jackets and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so, each zodiac sign in that clock represented 2 hours, and they, there's monkey time, there's rat time, you on pig time, snake time.
So what am I?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get to that. But real quick, I just want to say, having been to China and having seen the culture, like I said, they still use it today. Interior designers use it for feng shui. I mean, they use it. Matchmakers use it because what's really cool about the Chinese zodiac is there's a compatibility. It tells you what animals your sign is compatible with. So this is what I'm saying. Wouldn't it be great to know before, dating today is so crazy. Like you get on Tinder and you think you know everything about the person because you've already stalked them on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and you've followed their hashtags. So much about a person. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't it be cool on your first date to be so what's your astrological sign? We have a link. You can just look it up. You can just ask the guy, what year were you born? That's all you have to know. Because it's all based upon years. So the year you were born tells you what you are. That's all you have to know. So you could ask them. I mean, they might lie to you. They might be trying to flub their age, which is what everybody does when they're dating. But if they tell you the truth, you will know if you're compatible. And you can say, it's important you tell me the truth. I'm trying to figure out if we're compatible. Mm-hmm.
So are you a dragon? Bye.
Exactly. So, the other thing that is very unique to Chinese zodiac is that your sign and your year, because it's based on years, they carry a yin or a yang symbol. And if the year ends in a 1, it's yin metal. If it ends in a 2, it's yang water. For example, ends in a 3, it's yin water. So yin and yang is the fundamental concept of Taoism. You know all about yin and yang, right? So I think we can kind of skip through some of that. You can dive deeper on the
that means we're
blog.
Yin and yang.
Yes, white and black, black and white. Those of you watching us instead of listening to us on the podcast will find it interesting that I am white wearing black and Michael is black wearing white.
Da-da-da.
Da-da-da. We make yin and yang. And so those yin and yang just represents the opposites, qualities and when they come together, they make a perfect union and complement each other. And that is another type of balance.
Yes.
And so it's the phenomenon of bringing both sides together to create unity. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go to what I pulled for you based upon your birth year. You are an ox.
Ox?
An ox.
I want to be a dragon.
Oh.
But ox is number 2, right?
Ox is number 2, so you did good in the race.
Okay. There we go.
If that is really where it came from, you did good in the race.
Who beat me?
Good job. Who beat you? I have to remember. Let me look at my notes. It was rat.
Rat.
Rat. That rat beat you.
They're smart creatures.
They're smart. I mean, I'm pretty sure I was like 6 or 7. So anyway, let's talk about ox briefly. Is that your strengths? And what they do is they typically focus on your strengths and your weaknesses. Like I said, compatibility, who you're a mismatch with, your element, and whether you're yin or yang. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's a lot of information.
Yes.
And it's interesting.
And again, tip of the iceberg.
And we're not saying you have to believe in this. Like, we're presenting a bunch of things that you can kind of look at, find use for it, don't find use for it. That's none of our business. Mm-hmm. Point is that these are like tools in your toolbox. Yeah. Use the ones that really resonate with you.
And these typically are old tools.
Yes, there's a reason why they came up with these. Yeah. And whether some of them are like a little superstitious. Another little fun fact is that on your actual birth year, so every 12 years it'll be your birth year because there's 12 signs, right? Mm-hmm. So in every 12 years on the year of, let's say, the ox, that's actually a year that's bad luck for you. So in China, what they do, and apparently it offends the god of age. Uh-oh. Yeah. So every 12 years on, your face is so funny right now. For those of you watching us, Mike is just like, uh-oh. So yeah, you're going to have to, I guess, look and see what your bad luck years are. But it's not the year of the ox right now. So, but what I can tell you is that what they do to kind of ward off that bad luck is they wear the color red.
I like red.
I do too. One of my favorite colors.
That is my favorite color. Obviously.
So, your strengths, getting back to that, is that you are honest, contemplative, observant, determined, cautious, and loyal.
Yeah. I agree with those.
Okay. And here's the thing. If you are listening and you don't agree with what you find, it's just something for you to contemplate. It's something for you to realize, like, hey, I don't really resonate with that, but I do resonate with this. And sometimes you have to ask yourself if you're being honest. That's the interesting part of taking these.
Yes. How
honest are you being with yourself, and how self-reflective have you been up until this point? And are you willing to go deeper? Right?
Yeah. Are you gonna answer those questions with your heart or your ego?
Yeah. Like, are you trying to win the test, ace the test, win the race? Said that wrong there, but I think I recovered.
The truest answer is the best answer.
Totally. Especially that you don't have to share these with anybody. Mm-hmm. This should be fun. Mm-hmm. Like, all life should be fun. If this doesn't resonate with you, I'm sure we have a different podcast that will.
Yeah, indeed.
So, weaknesses for ox: self-righteous, stubborn, petty, egotistical, judgmental, and overly cautious.
I don't know if I agree with any of those.
Yeah, it's harder to look at the ones where it says weaknesses for sure. But when you're out of balance, are any of those things, do you feel like you tend to be prone to be? Self-righteous, stubborn, petty, egotistical.
I'm never out of balance. I'm perfect.
Oh yeah, you're tridoshic, so you're fine.
No, I have encountered many of those attributes today.
Okay, that's good. Good honesty. So your compatibility is with snake, rat, and rooster. Your mismatch, meaning you're incompatible to be partnered with, to probably work in close quarters with, to be a roommate with, to hire as a coach or somebody who is going to get you like at the core level. Compatibility is big for that. So goat, horse, or dragon. And when I say all that, I just think it's important that, you realize what's going to be best for you in compatibility and what's going to be best for them. And that's how you'll create harmony. So, element for you is earth. And you are yin.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Let's look at me. So I'm a snake. And the snake's strengths are wise, intuitive, sympathetic, mesmerizing,
mesmerizing,
sensual, beautiful. No, but anyway, strengths are wise, enigmatic, intuitive, sympathetic, mesmerizing, sensual, and beautiful.
I like those attributes.
That's snake, and that is me. Weaknesses. We could skip these, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Weaknesses. None.
Solid. Solid as rock. Weaknesses. Vain, malicious, overly materialistic. Bling. That's where the bling sign goes in. And duplicitous. So I think for all of those, malicious, I don't think I have a malicious bone in my body. So, they trigger something like malicious. I don't know how to respond to that. But, some of these, you're going to say something about fighting with me?
No, it could be self-sabotage.
Totally. That's what I was just going to say. Thank you. I was just going to say that some of these things might not be your personality, but they might be how you're talking to yourself or how you are harming yourself by, negative self-talk or self-sabotage. These are weaknesses. These are not personality traits. These are things that you could be prone to when you're out of balance. Yeah. So compatibility is rooster, ox, or dragon. So you and I are very compatible on both horoscope, Aries and Libra, and then ox and snake, which probably explains why we are, in love and happy and partners. And
that's why I snatched you up.
Snatched me up. I'm not a bag of chips.
Mine.
Bag of chips. Okay. So continuing, might have to edit that out. No, just kidding. So I'm mismatched with the tiger. So tiger signs are not a good match for me. Stay away. My element is fire again. Interesting, right? And I'm yin. Yeah. So
balance all the way through.
Yes, honey. So I think that's very brief overview. I hope that was informative. Let's move on to Enneagram.
I will do so. But prior to that, I will state that just hearing you talk about both, astrology and Chinese astrology, I found new things about you and I. Just here right now, I was like, whoa! It really made me realize, why we've been able to get through all the things we've gone through because we're compatible.
Right.
We constantly push each other.
Right.
And motivate each other so that...
But we also have components that are agitators, so that can be good for growth because sometimes you will outgrow your partner, right? And I think the reason why we haven't is that we're both agitators. We're both also helpers, right? So we both take care of each other. And I think you're going to get into some of that in the Enneagram.
Yeah.
So we both took this test, but tell us a little bit about it, like brief history and why we should take it.
Well, it's a very easy test to take, just like all the other tests. The Enneagram was developed in the 1950s by a psycho-spiritual teacher and later refined in the 1970s by a psychiatrist. So it's well-rooted in both science and spirituality. It's one of the newer tests that are out in regards to the doshas and
it's not ancient like the other.
Exactly. It's relatively new. So for some of you guys who are really science focused, this is a good
and this one's actually a test. The other ones are like enter your birth time and date and all that.
Correct.
This one's actually like answer these questions, and so is the dosha. So
Yes.
you're kind of covering those ones where you take 5 minutes and answer a few questions.
And there's no failing it.
No, and there's no failing.
The only way you can fail it is if you cheat.
The only way you could fail it, in my opinion, is if you're just really not honest.
Yeah.
You know, or if you're trying to like figure out how to ace it or how to, adjust the results, like that's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve anybody. I know the achievers in the audience, myself included, I'm like, okay, let's do this, snapping my fingers like I'm going to ace this.
I'm going to finish testing for you.
This is not that.
No. Take your time. Answer each question using your heart. And if you need to think for a second, think for a second.
Totally.
But typically, the first response typically is the right one.
Your gut response.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay, so moving on. The Enneagram is based on a model of the human psyche. And it's based on 9 personality types and then all the connections between those personality types. Right. So if you can imagine, if you were going to do the math, that's a lot of connections. So it really does a good job of kind of detailing who you are.
Okay.
And the 9 different types are reformer, helper, achiever, the individualist, the investigator, the loyalist, the enthusiast, the challenger, and the peacemaker.
Okay.
So there's 9. And, instead of going through all of them and all the different attributes, what I'll do is I'll focus on the ones that we are.
Okay.
So
and then people can take a deeper dive in the blog.
Exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. Just so we can, yeah.
Yep.
And again, the test literally took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's super, super fast. And
what does it give you? Like, so you just mentioned the 9, and then it just gives you like what you are, like a 1 through 9.
Yes.
Got it.
So you are actually a 2/1.
Okay.
Right. So of course you
with
can
the wing.
With the wing, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2s are helpers, of course.
Yeah.
You have a very caring personality.
Yes, tell me more.
You're demonstrative, which of course means that you are a teacher, right? You like to show people how to do things.
For sure. Which explains why I have the courses and
exactly.
We are teaching them and wanting people to live their most beautiful life.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. You're generous. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome, viewers. I'm generous.
I was saying it to you. You're welcome.
You're welcome. You tend to be people pleasing.
Yep.
Which sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes it's bad.
I have learned in the last couple years how to say no. I would say in the last 5 years, I've really developed that boundary. But I would have liked to have learned that earlier and younger.
Yeah. Well, the key to being a good people pleaser is to please thyself first. Put your mask on. Fill your own cup.
Fill your cup.
And then you can help people.
Right.
And then helpers tend to be possessive.
Face. You're mine.
Again, it could be both. It could be a positive thing. It could be, possessive. Also has a connotation of loyalty.
Yeah, protection,
nurturing.
Mama bear.
You possess things that you want, and you take care of those things.
Right.
So,
I'm okay with embracing the shadow part of myself. So,
just as long as you know it.
Yeah, but I think that it's good to know it so that I can recognize it if it comes up like a trigger. So that's helper, which is 2.
Right. You're also a reformer. So
yes, honey,
you are
get in line.
You have a very rational, idealistic kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Right. Very purposeful. Right. So when I say purposeful, I mean more like when you wake up, you thrive when you have focus. Like you know what you want.
Yep.
And
clarity.
Purposeful is also tied with rituals.
Right.
Remember when we went back to the doshas? One way to keep doshas, I think it was pitas, is through routine.
Yeah.
So going back to your rituals course, I wonder why that came about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, because I really thrive with structure and discipline, and I'm very prone to create resistance around them. And so if I have ritual, then I just fall in line with that ritual. I don't have to think about it. And if I have to make the decision or negotiate in my mind whether I want to do it or don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. And so I know that about myself. So creating the Most Beautiful Life course was all about just helping people live their most beautiful life and helping them identify rituals that will serve them. And all of us are so different. Like all of my students, I want them to take these tests. Like you have to know yourself to know what those triggers are, where you're going to fall, how you're going to fail, where that resistance comes from. All of that is so important.
Indeed. Reformers, purposeful, very self-controlled, right?
Okay.
So again, going back to PETA, all things in moderation, right? Okay. So you're thriving when you are self-controlled. Self-controlled is also tied in with ritual.
Right. So that's probably why I was so drawn to you with like the Zen Daddy, let me be tridoshic and Libra balancing. And I'm just like hot, cold, fire, water. I'm just so dynamic in those opposing ways.
Yes.
That I need to be around calmness, calm ocean, calm lake. and
being prior military myself, the only thing that I really enjoyed about the military was the routine.
Yeah.
And then when I exited the military and I was on my own, I was all over the place. I had no routines.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. I can grow my hair out. I can do all these things. But secretly, I needed those.
Yeah.
Which is why when I met you, and you had your routine, and you had, you were very
morning
self-controlled.
Routine
exactly.
And the evening routine, and like, if I was going to go drinking with you, and be like, okay, 2 glasses of wine, that's it. Like, I do have a lot of self-regulating, but it's all been developed. I grew up with very, as you know, very more for the audience, hippie parents, and I didn't have a lot of rules, and I got to run wild and ride horses bareback and half naked and, do whatever I want or drive the tractor because we had, a farm. Like I could do really anything I want. I would leave in the middle of the day or leave in the middle of practically the morning when it was even dark outside, climb up on the roof and eat fruit. Like I was a wild kid and I had no structure. And I think when you grow up one way, sometimes as an adult, you're like, I want things to be different. Yes. So you're looking for a balance, And so all of that came from, I think, not having a lot of balance.
Well, I'm glad you have it because when you met me, I was wicked wild. Like I was super crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember very shortly after I met you, the first thought that came to mind was like, oh my goodness, she's going to help me. Like she's going to balance me out, please. I'm going to spin out real quick.
And my wild side was like, I'm going to marry this Zen Daddy because he's like calm. He knows when to take me to the ocean and just put my feet in the water. And like, so, that is where compatibility is important.
Well, speaking of compatibilities,
okay,
the last one on the Reformer, and there's many, of course, but these are the ones that kind of popped up.
Yep.
Going back to the whole yin and yang, I tend to be very kind of go with the flow, right? If someone gives me $100 bill and it's ripped in half, but like, hey, I'll just tape it back together, no problem. I don't mind a little bit of suffering, right? You, on the other hand, or reformers, are perfectionists.
Yes.
Which means they want things done the right way.
Details, baby.
Details.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think that there's gifts, not to like Brene Brown's book, The Gifts in Your Imperfection. There are gifts into being a perfectionist. However, it's how you use that tendency to balance yourself and being aware of it. And it is probably still one of the hardest things for me, is because I want things to be perfect, and there is no such thing. And I know that. And that becomes a cycle if you allow it to, control you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And based on what we know about Zuri, is that when she's really focused on being a perfectionist and it's maybe too much, I got to cool her down, right? She's fiery. I got to, calm her down and just let her know that all things are done in moderation. Like, this could be perfect, but it can have a little bit of variance. I'm glad you're learning
so much, because I expect a massage after this, and just cool
you and I both. You and I both.
So, what are you?
I am a helper.
Uh-huh.
So surprise, surprise.
You and I are both helpers.
I'm a teacher. I'm a very generous.
Okay.
I tend to be a people-pleasing. That really, for me, stems from being the middle child. Middle childs typically are the people pleasers. Mm-hmm. And apparently I'm possessive, but I don't know how that... Maybe I'm not a very possessive person.
What's so funny is that you can take this with your husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and they'll be like, I'm not that. And you can just laugh, because you never see yourself the way other people see you. Mm-hmm. And you never experience somebody's negative traits or you never experience your negative traits the way somebody else will, right? Mm-hmm. So just laugh a little when somebody says they aren't that, because there is truth to all of it. However, when you're in balance, no. Your true self, who you are meant to be, and how your makeup is, you're perfect. We are all perfect beings in the sense that we are uniquely expressing what we are meant to express.
Correct.
And
with a little bit of self-inquiry, I realize where I am possessive. I tend to take care of the things that I own or that I'm around, because I want to keep them as new as possible, which is really why I have all my crystals, and I'm kind of coveting them, and if somebody comes up to my office and wants to borrow a crystal, I'm like, yeah, I'm a little anal on that. But I also, being possessive also causes you to really care for the things.
Yeah, I mean, it saved me from getting my butt kicked one night at a bar in LA, right?
Yes.
Possessive.
I did save you.
We'll share that story another time, but it's the one where Mike fish hooked some 300-pound woman who decided that she wanted to kill me for some reason because she was drunk. And more on that later, but I would say that it's possessive. You were taking care of your prized possession. Indeed. And thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That military training.
I didn't want you to have a fat lip and a broken nose on your birthday. That would have sucked.
Oh, anyway.
Okay, let's move on.
I want to go next to body graph.
Okay.
Your body graph provides what we would call a blueprint of your makeup. So it's like you'll get the user manual for how you were wired and how to navigate this life as this unique type. It's been said that working with your unique design configuration makes it easier to be in the flow and to attract what you desire. You can run your chart at mybodygraph.com. It's free. To find your unique human design, you'll need your date, time, and place of birth. And as we've said before, you can get this from your birth certificate. Once you get your body graph back, you'll be introduced to the human design system comprised of 9 centers, 36 channels, and 64 gates, all of which present as either open or closed, connected or absent, on or off. And if you're confused, like I was, just stick with me for a couple minutes here because the payoff is worth it. So human design is a personality assessment, personal growth, and self-empowerment tool that offers practical solutions for living the highest expression of who you were coded to be. The goal of the system is radical clarity so you can manifest your life purpose with the least amount of confusion, frustration, and anger. Have you ever wondered about your energy dynamics and personality characteristics and where they came from? In simple terms, human design is about who you were designed to be, and it gives you permission to operate in your own style, which is why understanding your body graph is going to provide you with a lot of clarity, and with clarity comes power. You'll likely feel a lot of relief and have some major aha moments. When you look at your body graph, keep in mind that most people shy away from this tool because it's science-like or, the medical visuals. But what makes human design complex is its density, because it combines several belief systems and sciences such as the chakra system, the tree of life, astrology, quantum physics, geometry, astronomy, genetics, and biochemistry. This makes the combination of your human design very complex. After all, there are 2 billion different configurations. The body graph and human design background comes from a man named Ra Uru Hu, who had a sudden and unexpected mystical experience in 1987 in Ibiza, followed by an encounter with a voice, stick with me, that lasted for 8 days and nights, during which he was exposed to the human design information. Interestingly enough, this encounter happened during the January 1987 supernova explosion that was witnessed and studied by astronomers worldwide. Ra considered himself a channeler of the human design system and dedicated the next 25 years of his life teaching the system. What I would say is that human design helps you understand the other people around you and the nature of your relationship with them. This becomes important information when determining what jobs to take, how to work well with others, and what role you will play well in terms of like teams and also in the family dynamic. But the best part of human design is it gives you permission to be exactly who you are. It may even help you fall in love with yourself in a more accepting way and with your partner. I call it surrendering to your design. And my experience with the surrendering is what made me fall in love with this system. Because you won't question why you need to make decisions in the way you do, or why certain things flow or cause you to fumble. The key points to review when you look at body graph are authority, non-self themes, strategy centers, and your type. And there are 5 types with unique roles and strategies. Manifestors, which make up approximately 8% of the population, their role is to initiate action from ideas. And their strategy is to inform everyone in your impact field before you take action. Generators, which make up approximately 37% of the population, their role is to find the right work and the right partner in life. And their strategy is to wait to respond with your sacral energy before you take action. Manifesting generator, approximately 33% of the population, their role is to find the right work and the right partner in life, and the fastest way to do all those things. Strategy is to wait to respond with your sacral energy, then inform everyone in your impact field before you take action. Projector, approximately 21% of the population, their role is to manage, guide, and direct the energies of others. Their strategy is to wait to be invited into life's big decisions, so like love, marriage, career, all of that, and wait to be asked or recognized before sharing your wisdom. Reflector is less than 1% of the population. Their role is to reflect the health of our communities back to us. Their strategy is to wait a full lunar cycle for clarity before you take action. So I'm not sure if I'm doing it justice, but I did want to kind of just put this out there, and you can dig deeper. And I can tell you what I am. I did the body graph, and I am a manifesting generator. And I pulled yours, and then I showed you your body graph and your generator. And what was interesting is both of us just looked at each other like, what the heck is this?
What? To be quite honest, I looked at it and it looked like at least 2 to 3 hours worth of math homework. And I got anxiety right from the get. But what I know about
good.
math.
That's honest though. Like, and this might not resonate with everybody. When you dig in and you really will learn things about what this all means. So for example, Mikey's a generator, and when generators use their natural wired energy correctly and follow the inner guidance of their sacral response, they are a powerful force that benefits the world. And they make up a big part of our workforce. Whereas I'm a manifesting generator, and when I found out that my sacral response guides me to the right work, I will then have inexhaustible energy to get that work done, and I can get it done fast. What I've found is that I can run circles around my team, and my focus is unmatchable. I've always said, like, I want to have a clone of myself because I become obsessed and I get it done magically, like so much faster than my, teammates or people that I am working with. So in the past, this has led me to feel frustration with others, but I see that my design's non-self theme is frustration, which makes a lot of sense. Your not self themes basically tell you when you're not in alignment with your purpose, or in this case, your program design. So for me, I need to appreciate others' designs are not the same as mine, and therefore not hold them to the speedy standard I have for myself. And if this is interesting to you, we will go into this deeper with a special guest that specializes in human design system on a later podcast. For now, you can use our show notes with resources to good teachers, the link to get your design, and our blog dives a little bit deeper into the different types and strategies, etc. I hope that was interesting for you.
Mm-hmm. What's that one? Ignorance is bliss?
No.
Ignorance is... What is it?
Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is piss?
Ignorance is piss.
I don't know. I just came up with that. What is it?
You said something last night that was kind of something about ignorance.
I did?
Yeah. We're drinking tea, doing our nighttime ritual, and you're like, ignorance is something, and it wasn't bliss. Ignorance is a miss or something. I don't know. You said something. It was pretty savvy. And I was like, oh, that was nice.
Man, you got to record me when I'm like, riffing.
Mm-hmm.
Getting them spiritual downloads. Those.
Ignorance is, that's me riffing. You know what I'm saying?
That's scatting, not riffing.
Oh. Well, I don't like scat. It stinks.
Stop. Okay, we're drinking tea. I remember what I said. I said, you can waste time by staying ignorant of your design.
Boom. That's
Boom.
It. That's money right there.
Is it?
That's money.
Better than ignorance is bliss? You think we could make it like a t-shirt?
Well, ignorance is never bliss. Ignorance is never bliss. But you can waste a lot of time by being ignorant of your design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
Mm-hmm.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Take note. You can waste time by being ignorant of your design. Did you write that down?
No, but we recorded it, so... And I'll see it in the transcript. And I'll see all your ums and
You know what? That's my next tattoo.
Ums?
I'm going to get a face tattoo.
It says
No. Waste time by being ignorant of your design.
Oh, shit.
Right afterwards.
Instead of a teardrop, it'd just be a
That's juicy.
The last thing we're going to talk about has also kind of a math component.
Okay.
And that's numerology. If you were somebody who likes numbers and you see symbols and you see, let's say, 1111 on your clock and you make a wish, or you
333
or 555, all of these things. There are some of our audience I know that's really into that. I actually polled our audience a couple of times on different things that they're interested in. So numerology, we have a great numerologist we're going to have on, and she's amazing and has helped us through different things. So we will, talk more about numerology. But the quick, just like understanding and where it came from, it's also ancient. So, out of the, I think, 6 things we've talked about, 5 of them are ancient. I think the Enneagram is the only one that is a little bit more,
newer. Yeah.
Newer. And so it's ancient, and it comes from Greek philosopher Pythagoras. And you might know him, or math geeks might be into this, is that Pythagoras came up with the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Every day.
Yeah, you use that every day, I'm sure. But I actually was really into that. I like geometry, was like the math that I was drawn to. So, so Pythagoras was really cool because he was very into energy, and he believed that the physical world was comprised of energetic vibrations of numbers. And so he developed a system that corresponds letters with integers. And his practice was a study of numerical interconnectivity is what he called it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, obviously we use numbers daily. If you live in this society, you have to understand numbers because that's how you make money. It's how you tell time. So many things are connected to numbers. So this isn't something to be afraid of. This is somebody's theory. This is also very ancient and a way that they use to calculate your life path. And they called it your life path number. So what they do is to get to your life path number, you have to separate the numbers of your birthday. So your day, month, and year, or year, month, and day. And you add them up to create a single digit. So to get to that number, you'd, like I said, add them up, and then the essence of that number becomes your life path. So, and it's a single digit becomes your life path. But like I was saying, numerology is very similar to astrology. In that it provides you with what your optimal expression is, and what your tendencies and obstacles might be in this life. So your life path number is similar to your astrological sun sign. It reveals your greater purpose, including strengths and weaknesses, talents and ambitions. This is a basic explanation, so you can dig deeper. And we have more on the history if that fascinates you. I really like the historical part, and where it came from, and kind of the funny facts, because there's always these funny things that come along. But it's still used today. People still use it to make big decisions, or October is typically the best time to get your numerology reading, and that's because that's when the new year actually starts. And when the projections of what's going to happen for that year starts. So I pulled your number, and you know this from doing readings with our numerologist, and you are a 5, and the combination that makes your 5 is a 2-3-5. So I explain a little bit more on the blog about what's the 2-3-5, and there's different combinations that make up a 5, but you're a 5. And what that means is you're free thinking, adventurous, and progressive. 5 is defined by freedom, actually. So how does that resonate with you?
Wild thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. And also, you don't like being told what to do?
No.
And or like maybe dealing with bouncers, authority figures?
Yeah. That's my pet peeves.
Okay. So out of alignment, 5 can become very restless and will jump from project to project.
Me? No.
I don't know. That sounds kind of like exactly the out of alignment version of you that I have come to know.
How many screenplays do I
have? So commitment to one's true soul purpose will see fives thrive. Yeah.
I like that.
So this is why getting to know yourself is so important.
Okay, what's yours?
So mine is, I am an 8, a 3-5-8.
Okay.
And
so when you say 3-5-8, you mean 3 plus 5 equals 8, right?
Yeah, I'll explain more of that. It's a little complex, and if you're not super interested in numerology, I don't know that it's super important. The point is that if you want to figure this stuff out, you can go to the blog. I'm going to have a show link. You can take the test, and it really, this is a rabbit hole, just like some of these other ones. Like you can go so deep.
Yeah.
And I welcome you to do that. There's no harm. This is much better pastime than scrolling on Instagram endlessly, or unless it doesn't resonate with you. In my opinion, this is information for your soul. So a tool in your toolbox, right?
And the deeper you go, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you can do.
Yeah, and if you don't know, now you know.
Indeed. Okay, so
I'm a 3-5-8, but 8s. So 8 is my life path number, and within numerology, as you can imagine, 8 is like balance, and also its core like purpose is linked to material wealth and financial success. So it's really an abundance number. So my life path is abundance. I'm ambitious and goal-oriented, and 8s can effortlessly assume leadership positions through our natural magnetism. So,
okay.
But out of alignment 8s, they breed workaholics and extreme highs and lows.
Keep going.
Any of this sound like me?
Keep going.
But 8s, how they thrive in the society, because obviously money is a huge part of America. 8s thrive through contribution. So humanitarian pursuits and philanthropy and any type of way that they can give back. And as you know from me talking to you, like my life purpose is to serve, and that's what feels the best. So when I'm out of alignment, then maybe it would get more to like materialistic or some of the other things we've seen in like snake or, you can see where you can easily get out of balance. And I know what my numerologist has said, 8s are great in the sense that they can be as rich as they want or as broke as they want. And they will never be in the middle. They're not like a middle ground number. Their life path is all about tragedy and, highs, lows, tragedy and successes. And
rags to riches.
Yeah, rags to riches and high, low. It's, a lot of opposites, which is kind of all over the place for me, like the fire and water, right? So it's interesting. It's another thing that kind of validates why you're here and what you're going to experience. And, in writing my book, we see a lot of that high, low themes and opposites. And we live on a planet that is made up of contrast, right?
Yes.
So,
I will say that doing all these tests kind of in a row, we kind of batched them. Each test really validates the other tests.
Yeah.
Right. You see similarities. So if you just took one test and you're like, I don't think so. But if you take 5 tests and all 5 tests are saying the same thing, that gives you a true sense of your strengths, your weaknesses, your what you need to work on, what you need to. And
they're not tests. I mean, I think we keep saying that, but they're really like only 2 of them are actual like question and answer where you would sit down in like a classroom and take a test. The others are just like, exactly. But none of this took us a lot of time. This is something we're talking about like on a Sunday fun day when you're sitting with your cup of tea. You could do these in like 40 minutes total.
Very quick.
and then print them out and then like go deeper, digest them if you want, or, save them to your phone, bookmark them, whatever you like to do and how you like to have your information. This is not something that you would have to become an expert in. It's just more focus on the things that you feel like, wow, I need to know more. Like I was meant to know this about myself. And then the fun stuff is also if you are dating or you're in a marriage or you're in a failing marriage or you're in a situation where you want to get to know more about somebody, I think these are really cool. So that's all 6 of our offerings for today's podcast. Let us know if you like this. Please subscribe, rate this podcast. Tell us, which of these tests you took. We will always have time and make time to respond back to your Instagram DMs or your comments on our blog. And we're here for you, and we love you, and we hope that these things help you create your most beautiful life.
We hope you received extreme value from this podcast. If you would like to connect with us on a deeper level, you can join our free Tribe subscription newsletter or follow us on social.
And take advantage of our free shopping guides, discounts on products, hacks, and recipes using the links in the show notes. Our aim with every show is to provide you with value, and we welcome your feedback and support. The best way to support us is to click the share button and tell your community about us. You can also subscribe and give us a review. We appreciate you so much for tuning in, and we are honored to help you discover what's beautiful about being you. All right. We love you guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.